Yeah, we're soul sisters. Together we gon' make sure that you know Jesus. Right now could be your breakthrough. Just come join with us. 'Cause the Spirit might just make you yell out, Lord Jesus. Right here on the Godly View.
Hello, and welcome back. We are back for another episode of The Godly View. I am Jessica Renee, your neighborhood therapist. I'm coming to you out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, where I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a mother of one. Um, I'm now a youth leader at my church. I also do some activism stuff. I volunteer with one of the activist groups here in Bowling Green. If you are in the Bowling Green area, come out Saturday. We are doing a back to school drive, and we will be there from 2 to 6. So come out and get your kids some school supplies and have some hot dogs. They're free. Get you some water. And all right, today we are actually talking about education, all things education. I have one of I'm not going to say yet. I'll introduce her a little bit later. But I'm going to pass it on to my lovely co-host. My next one, I'm going to pass it on to Miss Purry.
Hello, everyone. Super excited to be here with you guys on this wonderful Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday, and we here. The Soul Sisters normally be here with you on Saturday, but we got a special presentation for you on today, and I am super excited to be here with you guys. I am Andrea Purry, your purpose pusher, pushing you into purpose with prayer and affirmation, letting you know that God is the one. He is the true and only one that can bring purpose into your life. And you can have purpose. Yes, you can have purpose with the Lord. And I just want to continue to admonish you and just to continue to tell you, please make sure you have community. Yes, community. I love community. You need community, and you're going to love it too as well. I hail from the great state of California by way of Mississippi. I've been in Mississippi for a long time. So I can't say, I'm a city country girl. I was served in the military for about 18 years and retired in 2021. So I am so excited to be retired. And now I work with the VBA, the Veteran Benefits Administration, and I serve as an HR specialist. And I've been doing that almost a year and 4 or 5 months, y'all. It's been a minute. I'm excited. About my new career, and I have some other things coming out, and I just want to do a little plug right here, since it's on me. But we will be doing a prayer walk next Tuesday, July 31st. And we're going to do it for our men next to the July 30th. I'm sorry, July 30th. We're doing it for our men. We want to join in prayer and pray wherever you are around the world. If I could get 100 people to come on and pray with me, that would be amazing. That's our goal, to have 100 people praying all around the world. Super excited about that. And last but definitely not least, we do the Whole Woman Wellness Conference, which Jessica will be on, Dr. Kim will be on, Pastor Greer will be on. So you will see the Godly View in the place. You will see them in the place. So I'm super excited about that. This is our 4th year for the Whole Woman Wellness Conference. And like I said, I'm just doing my little plug right here, and letting you guys know to be on the lookout for what we're doing individually as well as collectively. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Kim.
Hello. We doing plugs today. Well, I just feel powered in just moved right on in. So hello everyone. My name is Dr. Kimberly L. Jefferson. I am your alignment coach here on the Godly View, the Soul Sister Godly View. And my purpose is to help with alignment, mind, body, and soul shifts, and also to share with you where we are in the space. So I am wearing my yellow today, and the good sister passed it over to me. So I am going to share with you about some things that I have been thinking about. I am wearing yellow. Yellow is the color of joy. How can we remain joyful in the journey? Wherever you are right now, don't miss out on the joys that are specifically assigned to you in the moment. The question I want to submit to you is, how faithful are you in your growth seasons? The challenges will come, the growth seasons will come. How faithful are you? How faithful are you to God? How faithful are you to your habits? How faithful are you to your goals? How faithful are you to loving yourself right through the moment versus trying to press ahead on things? So, with that question in mind, I also want to encourage you, just because things aren't happening as fast as you want them to happen, you may be missing out on the fact that you are building character and skill. Just because you have to continue to do things over and over and over again and you don't see the results of it yet, it feels monotonous, it feels day after day, and you want to just fast forward through it. I want to encourage you that you are building something for the next season of your life and you don't want to miss out on it. So think about, how faithful are you in the growth seasons so you can start to appreciate where you are in your now and you don't miss out on your joy. By the way, I am in the state of Mississippi right now. I am a chiropractor. Forgive me for not saying it. So I am known for helping people with physical alignment as well. So I love the merger of the spirit, the soul, the mind, the body, all of those type of things. And the day God gave me that revelation, it helped me out. And if you didn't know, I will officially tell you now, sugar does not go in grits. And you can argue in the comments, not with me. I'm going to pass it over to my good sis, Jessica Renee.
All right. I don't know about the sugar or the salt because I don't eat grits. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all have that argument. But anywho, that was a great sister segment and a great reminder to just be remind everyone to be joyful in the moment and stay in the moment. I like that. Thank you for that. So yes, I have, as I talked about earlier, today we are talking about all things education. Okay. And I have the pleasure today of getting to bring on one of my good friends, one of my other sisters, and she gave me her bio. Okay, I'm gonna read some of her bio, but I was also gonna talk off the brain, off the heart. Okay, but we met at Western Kentucky University. That's where we did our undergrad. We joined the same sorority. She was actually my pledge mom. Well, no, she wasn't my pledge mom. No, that was Aurelia. I'm sorry. But we were in the same sorority. We helped do service together. We've attended many functions together. So we've been friends over 10 plus years. But yes, she's now a doctor. So she got doctor in front of her name. So when you see her, say it with your chest, okay? Because she earned that. So today I'm introducing Dr. Brittany Hernandez Stevenson. Yes, she has a long name. She's out of Greenville, Kentucky, and she serves as Madisonville's Community College's Muhlenberg campus manager. That was a mouthful, so I'm gonna say it again. She is at Madisonville Community College's Muhlenberg campus manager. Okay, she has been. I'll let her tell you how long she has been there because I think it's been about 10 plus years as well. But she has served in different capacities. She's works on promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, all while empowering those with her in her community. Brittany serves on many boards. She works with the NAACP, where she's been the president. She is also a member of the Rotary Club, the alumni. She is also in the chapter of the Alumni Delta Sigma Theta chapter in Hopkinsville. She just recently joined. And then she's also a board member of the United Way of the Coalfield and Greater Muhlenberg Chamber of Commerce. She's also an very active member of her church, First Missionary Baptist Church of Greenville, where she has served in different capacities as well. We got to tell her to sit down. She's one of those people we got to be like, Brittany, you're doing too much. Sit it on down, okay? It's okay. Let somebody else do it for us. You all right. But she is also a loving sister. She has a sister, and her mom is Janice. We all fond of her as well. And like I said, she's just a great person all the way around, very outgoing, loves to help, loves to empower others. And so with no further ado, I'd like to bring her in. Dr. Brittany Hernandez Stevenson, come forth. I know I said a mouthful, but is there anything you want to add to that?
I just want to start by saying sugar does go in grits, and I'll leave it at that. But and I didn't always eat grits, but when I do, I put sugar in them. And I do have a daughter. I'm a single mom, and she is 14, so she's going into high school. She'll be a 9th grader this year. So that's been an interesting journey as well. But I have been with the college since 2011, and I actually started in our business office taking payments. And I have moved around. As Jessica mentioned, I've held several different roles. So it's almost like I started from the bottom, then I worked my way up, and that was nothing but a God thing. I can only give credit to him for getting me to where I am. Never imagined working in higher education. So to be pretty much the director of a campus is just an amazing opportunity that I've had.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. So, well, we're going to roll right in. Does anybody have anything else they want to say, or before I ask the first question?
Well, I'll just say that sugar can go in grits, as well as salt, as well as butter, as well as cheese, as well as shrimp. You know, you can put anything you want in grits.
Whatever pleases your palate.
Whatever you want
to follow directions, because I said in the comments, and it's all on the screen. We're supposed to be talking about education right now, not the grits. Well, go ahead.
Okay, so we're doing all things educational and grits wise. Okay, that's today. That's the show. But anywho, so our first question, which I think is coming off your introduction, I think is very appropriate, is what has your personal experience with education been?
A journey for sure. A journey. I went to Western Kentucky, as Jessica mentioned. That's where we met. I started there in 2003, graduated with my bachelor's in human resource management in 2007. And I actually teach public speaking now. So I'm a communications professor. And I tell my students all the time that while I was at Western, I kept saying that I wanted to quit. Like, I just remember going through and I graduated with honors. So it's not like I was really struggling in school, but it was just a challenge. Overall, it's a challenge. I don't care how good your grades are. We all face different challenges along the way. And all I can remember is saying, I wish I would have went to the community college instead. I wish I would have started there, learned a trade, did my 2 years or whatever, and then went on about my business. But I finished my bachelor's, and then I said I was never going back. I was done. Didn't want to have anything else to do with it. And I don't remember where I was at. I was at an event, and I saw one of my classmates that I graduated from Western with. And we were just talking about what we were doing. And I asked him, what are you doing now? He told me that he was working in higher education. And I was like, that's not something I ever thought about. So I looked into it. Madisonville had a position. I applied, and I ended up getting a job. So I was actually in banking at the time, moved to the college, and then they had a master's program that they were doing locally. So I started working in Madisonville, but I actually work at our Central City campus now. And when I was working in Madisonville, when they started the cohort for organizational communication. I guess that was about 2012 that we started. I went through the master's program. As I was going through that, I said I was done, wasn't going to do it anymore, and all those things. So once I got my master's degree, that gave me the opportunity to actually teach at the community college level. So I started teaching in 2015, and teaching was never on my list of things to do either. So that was a blessing. And I'm sorry I'm mixing my work history with my education, but it all goes together.
Yes, it
Because
does.
I guess if I weren't working here, I probably wouldn't have gone any further than my bachelor's. But when I started teaching, I remember our academic dean at the time came by my office, or I saw her in the hallway, and she was like, "You need to go for your doctorate." Honestly, I was like, "This lady is crazy. I'm not doing it." I told her no. I was like, "No, I'm good. Fine where I'm at." And then she just kept saying it, kept saying it. And so I looked into it, and I found this fellowship program through Western and started doing some more research. And I made a post on Facebook. It was just like, "I'm looking into this program. What do y'all think?" And one of my friends or colleagues at the time responded and was like, "I'm in that program." And I was like, "Okay, God, I hear you. Let's do it." So that's how I ended up getting my doctorate degree, was just she pushed me to do it. So I'm thankful that she did. But when we talk about a struggle, it has definitely been a struggle. Lots and lots and lots of tears along the way, lots of doubt, um, struggle. There were good times. I have lifelong friends. I actually went to North Carolina a couple back 4th of July to visit one of my doctoral classmates, and that was the first time we got to see each other in a couple of years since we graduated. So that was good. Um, I learned a lot about myself, and during the time I was in the doctoral program, most teachers, especially at the community college level, teach 5 classes, and we're talking 20 plus students per class. 5 classes is like a full-time load we have to keep. But I was up for promotion that year, so I had to do what's basically a portfolio. So this is a document that could be over, mine were usually over 100 pages. I was not teaching 5 classes, but 7 classes. Like I said, single mom, my daughter was young at the time. Um, Trying to think of what else. It was a lot. It was a lot. My blood pressure went up. I don't know how much weight I gained. My vision changed. So a lot of these things happen that you really don't think about, and you don't realize how much staring at a computer screen can affect you. So it did. A lot changed, but I'm very thankful that I went through the journey that I did, because I can share my story with others and hopefully inspire someone else.
Yeah, you have anything you want to add to that, or any questions off of that you want to ask?
I just want to commend you. I feel like as women in education, because Black women are the number one holders of degrees and higher education degrees. And when we get to the doctorate, the postdoctorate, Black women, they at the top. And I just want to congratulate you on continuing the journey, even when it got hard, even when it got rough. And now you're reaping the rewards from what you did. But that is amazing, amazing, amazing. And I do want to ask you, it's not one of the questions that we have, but from what you have shared. So now, since you went through all of that, how are you taking care of yourself? Like, what are you doing for your wellness now that, okay, I've been through where I was working, on a doctorate, teaching 7 classes, my blood pressure went up, my weight went up, I had my daughter, and I was doing everything, and I had all these hats. So now what are you doing to pour back into you?
Well, let's say right after I finished my doctorate, I ran for office. I don't know how much you want to talk about taking care of yourself, but I don't know
That's
exactly
what I
what it is.
said.
Yeah, so
Who
I
was the
ran for
other one?
state representative back in 2022. And so I defended my dissertation on the 18th. I was asked to run for office on the 21st of October. So just the end of that week. And I said no for forever. And then I ended up taking that. So I didn't really get a break in there. And then in November of 22, my daughter had a bad four-wheeler accident 2 days before the election. So actually, the day of the election, I had to go from I was in Louisville with her, came home because I had an election night party planned. I did not win, but I believe that was a God thing as well. And then I went back to Louisville. And then in March, my dad passed. So it has been, um, it's been hard to find ways to take care of myself. One thing for me is that I have to plan out every minute of every day. And so I feel like if I have an extra 15 minutes that I could be doing something, and what I have learned is that even though I think I'm being productive by using up all my time, I'm really less productive. And right now, I am dealing with the consequences of taking on too much and trying to learn how to process everything. So it's been hard to find ways to take care of myself. One thing I have to try and do is schedule downtime. Like if I'm going to sit and be on my phone, I have to tell myself, okay, like on Mondays, my Mondays are my rest days. So when I get off work on Mondays, it's like I'm going to go home. I'm not doing anything. I don't care if there are clothes all over my floor, dishes that need to be washed, even though it seems like that's every day. But Mondays for sure, I'm going home and I'm just going to chill. Not going to force myself to do anything, because then I don't have that pressure or get depressed because it's like I need to do all this stuff, but I'm not doing it today. So that's my one rest day. And actually, this summer, I've been on a lot of trips, and that has helped me mentally. It hasn't helped my bank account. I just looked the other day at my credit card statement. I was like, oh, that's where it's all at. But it for sure, it has helped me mentally to travel, because so often, and I'm sure a lot of people are like this, they have those regrets of, I wish I would have gone here. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done this. And this year, I just don't have those regrets, and I feel a lot better. And I realize I can take more trips than I ever thought I could. Even if it's just a quick weekend trip, I can do a lot more. But I'm still working on trying to find ways to take care of myself. I have started to get massages regularly as well. It was once a month, but again, the way my bank account's set up is every 2 months sometimes. But that time it's just been a lot better for me. So I'm still trying to figure it out, because I've held so much in for so long that I'm still trying to process it.
Again, I got to commend you, because taking that step, taking those trips, and taking that Monday, that is a step.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to commend you for the steps. Like,
thank you.
We praise people for all of their accomplishments. Now we got to start praising people for their wellness, because we want you, yes, to do, but also to rest.
Yes.
Thank you, Jessica, for giving me that space.
Oh, you're welcome. Would you guys like to ask a question? One of the questions, or you want me to continue asking? Go ahead. Okay. All right. So kind of switching gears a little bit and talking in terms of talking about your education now, kind of switching gears to what you do with helping other people. How can the older generations navigate the process of going back to school, especially like in terms of balancing work and family responsibilities with academics? Like, what would you say to that?
It can, I mean, like I said, it was a challenge for me getting my master's, and I talk, I keep saying I'm a single mom, and we have a habit of saying that, but I do have a great support system. So it's not that I'm doing everything on my own. So I don't want to take that away from any of the people who are helping me watching my daughter, but there are a lot of people who don't have that support system and have to do stuff on their own. I know childcare can be an issue for some people, but making sure that they need to realize can take it slow, because as an adult learner, you're already the non-traditional student. So you didn't go to school right out of high school, or if you did, you're going back for whatever reason because you didn't finish. So it's okay to take it slow, take just a couple of classes, don't overdo it. Work comes first because work pays your bills. Yes, you want to get a better education because that can help with your money and help you do better at taking care of your household. But just take it slow. Just take a couple of classes at a time if you have to until you're comfortable taking more. Try not to overwhelm yourself, I think, is a big thing. And also realizing that online classes aren't always the best, even though a lot of people, when they're taking classes, they're working full time during the day. So they feel like they have to take or they want to take all these online classes. But as a student and as a professor, I'm telling you, online classes are harder. They're harder to teach and they're harder to take because you have to be more disciplined in doing that. You have to sit down, you have to commit yourself. And for the most part, you're teaching yourself. You don't have those deadlines of going into class and needing to have the assignment done in just a couple of days. So you really have to prioritize your time. Get your syllabi all together from all your classes, lay them out, make you a calendar, figure out what's going to be best for you. Make sure to ask for help because a lot of students think that they are out there alone, but they're not. I know here, like I have a student who calls me almost every day just to ask questions, but to also talk. And I feel like I helped to make him feel better about what's going on because I try to relate to him. I try to support him and let him know that he's not the only one doing this. And if he has questions, I'm there for them. And students have faculty members who are like that. You have staff, advisors. There are a lot of people at the institutions who are there to support you. And it's always good to ask your teachers questions. We get paid to help students. Everyone here, if we don't have students, we don't have jobs. So if you're ever in a position where you feel like you need to ask questions, do it. It's better to ask those questions, know what's going on, than to be lost, fail a class, miss an assignment or something, all because you're afraid they're going to be mad you ask a question. But that's usually not the case. And if somebody's mad that you ask a question, they don't need to be teaching anyways. But I think for the most part, that's it.
That's good. I feel like that's something that a lot of people need to hear. I remember my mom saying that when she was a teacher, like, we're in business because of you. Like, and you need to get what you need out of these classes. I think that goes for the older generation as well as the younger, especially the ones that are just coming in. Ask all the questions.
Yes. And I know a lot of people who are non-traditional students or adult learners, they feel uncomfortable because they think they're going to be the oldest one in the classroom, you know, and it's like sometimes you are, but you also have a lot more life experiences than some of the younger ones. And what I see a lot at our institution is a lot of the younger ones look to some of the older ones as mentors, or they become like brothers and sisters, or like that's big sis or big bro, whatever it is. And so they're helping each other out. And I think that helps empower or motivate the older generation too. So just know that even if you are the oldest person in the classroom, like I've had students older than me, I'm not going to treat you any different. You are still a student, you know, and you are still here for a reason. And I'm going to do my best to make sure you get everything you need.
Love that. So, and talking about the older, the non-traditional student and then the traditional student, what are some common misconceptions about FAFSA and financial aid that our non-traditional students can learn as well as our traditional students, and how can they overcome these challenges in getting funding for education?
One of the biggest things that I hear, and I am not a FAFSA expert, I had to get with my people to make sure they told me what to say for some of this, because I didn't want to go out and say anything related to FAFSA because I know that's always a question and I mess it up. But one thing I always hear is students say, I have to be full-time. I have to be full-time. Why? Well, to get financial aid. Who told you that? So that's not true. It just all depends on the type of financial aid. And that's another thing. People think that financial aid and student loans are two different things. No, it's financial aid as the umbrella, and then you've got your loans, your grants, your scholarships. Any type of aid you receive is financial aid. So for loans, you do have to take a certain number of credit hours, but you do not have to be full time. For Pell Grants, you do not have to take a specific number of credit hours, and that's typically for the fall and the spring. Summer is a little different. So you can take one class, you can take one credit hour, and a lot of times get financial aid. So students who think they have to be full time and take at least 12 hours, that's not true. And then for those who think the more credits I take, the more money I'm gonna get, 12 hours is it. So if your bill is $5,000 and you getting $2,000, that's your max. It's not going up because your bill is $5,000. You just out of pocket $3,000. So just know that usually 12 hours full time, whatever you would receive for that 12 hours is the same amount of money you're gonna get for 15 or 18. So don't think you can take all these extra credits and all of that stuff. So I think that's another big one, is the more I take, the more money I'm gonna get, or that I have to be full time. Loans are not always your friend. If you can avoid taking out loans, please do not take out loans, because I know a lot of people use that money to pay bills or take care of, and that's okay. Like, that's what a lot of that is for. While you're in school, helps you to live, but don't take out the max amount if you don't need the max amount, because then you stuck paying the max amount and the number stays the same for 15 years, because that's what I feel like mine is doing, just not changing. So I wish someone would have told me more of that when I was younger. And my loans aren't high, but they're high enough.
That's one thing that I thank God for the military for, because they wiped them all away. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Ooh, over 100,000 worth of,
Ooh,
and it's all gone. I just want y'all to just do a
that's
praise
a
break
blessing.
right there in the comments.
Yes.
So, in talking about that and giving us kind of like a snapshot, what are your views on a community college? How can that be beneficial to our non-traditional students as well as our traditional students to further their education, and what resources are available to support them in their education?
There's a lot of stigma behind community colleges. I know that it was when I was in high school. The campus I'm on opened up in 2001. I graduated from high school 2003. And I was like, I'm not going to the community college. I was like, that's for people who couldn't make it to the college. That's what a lot of people think, but that's not the case. Financially, it is a lot better, especially for non-traditional students who say they make too much money, just barely too much money, so they don't qualify for any financial aid, or they can only take out the loans. Community college costs are a lot cheaper. The class sizes are a lot smaller in most cases. You have some that are big, but really at the university level, at a lot of institutions, people talk about these big class sizes. Usually it's your biologies or your chemistries or astronomies or something. Your science classes have the big classes, sometimes communications and a few others, but most are reasonably sized. But a lot of community colleges, the class size is 25 or less. And since COVID, it's been a lot smaller. So they're starting to grow back now. But the money is, you save a lot of money to get some of the same classes that you had before. And I'm trying to think, you build more of a relationship with the people that are there. So it's more like, I know our campus has more of a family feel because we are smaller, we are more connected. Like, I always make sure that I know my students by name by the end of the first week. If I don't do anything else, I'm going to know your name. And I'm going to check on you like you're my child if you don't come to class. A lot of people think that they don't know, your teachers don't pay attention to whether you're there. Yes, we do. We know. We'll even ask other teachers, have you seen this person? Have you talked to them? So we try to follow up because we want them to know that they do have a support system. And again, that's helpful for the non-traditional students as well. And they can relate to the professors a little bit more too, because they're more open to talking to them sometimes. and they're just more comfortable because they may see students who are older and it's not just one or two.
Thank you for sharing that. I truly believe that the community college was good for me for my prereqs because it's cheaper to go to a community college and get all your prereqs out the way and then go to a university and take your major classes and get your degree there. It's cheaper one. It's more to me the quality of the teacher to student ratio was better for me in a community college, and I did like having that home feel after just coming out of high school and being able to adjust. It helped me, and I will 10 times recommend community college because I could have went to a university, but my mom was like, try this. And I was like, okay. And I actually got more scholarships at the community college from the beginning because of the small atmosphere and because a lot of people didn't sign up for some of the scholarships that I applied for. So I recommend community college in the beginning, hands down.
And that's something else too, the scholarships. You were talking about resources, and that's something I just kind of skipped over. But there are a lot of scholarships that you can apply for. And like our institution, we have one scholarship application, and then they just look to see which ones you qualify for, what you will be best for, instead of having to do several different ones. They changed that process just a few years ago, I believe. But that's one thing. And then we have a lot of tutoring services too. And a lot of the services on campus, pretty much all of them, are free. That's what students fail to realize. You can get tutoring. And I always say that the smart students are the ones who get the tutoring, not the ones who don't, who think they can just make it and then struggle and fail, have to repeat, or just drop out. You are a lot better off if you ask for help and ask for it early on. So those services are free, and there are people just waiting to help you. So take advantage.
Yes, use the resources. I remember one of the resources that I use in college. They actually help you write your papers. They look over your papers for you. It was the Richard Rice Center at Jackson State, and when I tell you, they help you so much. And like you said, it's free resources. And all I did was just go to the third floor in the library and talk to the lady. And yes. Thank you so much. That's all the questions that I have. I'm gonna pass it over to Dr. Kim.
Dr. Brittany.
Hey.
This has been so just refreshing just to hear your story and for you to share some resources and your ideas and insights for some other people as well. My comment in the beginning that I wanted to share with you was you have paid the cost. It's a cost associated with higher education, with pursuing things, all of those things. There's a cost involved with it. I think we look at the title doctor sometimes, and people want to. There are a lot of perceptions that come with it. I don't want to get into it, but I was thinking about how when people they address us by our name and we have to come forward and say, no, it's doctor. Yeah. And there's like this full thing about it with correction. And just in this conversation, just listening to you, and when you talked about the blood, sweat, and tears, and I was like, that made me realize my own blood, sweat, and tears that I put in through the process. And I was like, it's not really about correction, but it's about the announcement of it. It's about the honoring of it. I have to honor myself if no one else will with that, because you were there on the nights when you had to do papers, the weeks that you had to break things down while you were balancing and maintaining your mental health, your physical health, trying to make sure you ate something, that you went to sleep. All of those type of things, the family things come up, friendships, all of those type of things. And so there is a cost associated with it. But I'm sure our viewers listening to this, I hope they take note that even with the cost, there is support available. and that, you know, we're worthy of putting forward that effort and paying those costs so we can have the rewards, because that's where we are speaking from now, the rewards of
Yes.
those things as well. So that is awesome. I wanted to talk about first time college students. I have a niece. This is her first time going into college, and I remember some things that happened with my parents going in. So I'll just base my questions off of that. And once again, talking about, you know, how you're pouring into yourself, what insight or advice do you have for first time college students who are balancing out workloads, classes, being social, just trying to be involved in all the things? What would you say to those college students?
So again, I would say that you don't have to rush and to take your time, that it's not about finishing first or uh, a lot of students compare themselves to other students. And that's one thing. Don't always listen to your friends. A pet peeve is when students come in and say, well, my friend said, but your friend hasn't worked in this position. Your friend can only go off of their experience and what they did. Yes, it's good to hear it, but don't try and correct me who's been doing this for just a little bit longer to tell me I'm trying to help you with your journey, but you want to just listen to what your friend did because it worked for them. That's one thing, is do not always take advice from your friends when it comes to your academic journey, unless something that you're being told sounds just completely off. You know, when it sounds off and you talk to your friends, they're like, nah, that's not right. Then you could do that. But they definitely need to be their own advocate and try and listen to the experts or the people with the experience that have been in the field and have been working with students. I think it's okay for these first time students to realize that it's okay to not have life figured out. They come in thinking they have to have their major, they have to know what they want to be when they grow up, because that's one of the first questions I ask my students or my advisees. What do you want to be when you grow up? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, it's okay. I have 3 degrees and I still don't know. So you're fine. I promise you, you are just fine. It's not about having life figured out when you first walk into your advising appointment. That's not the goal. It's to help try and figure life out. So when you go in to register for classes, it's going to be intimidating. Again, ask questions, because like for me, I may see 10 students, or not really 10, maybe 7 students in a day when I'm doing advising. So as I'm running through my information, I've already said it several different times. So I don't know what I've missed, or I may say something thinking that you know what I'm talking about. And really, you're like, I've never heard those terms before. So ask those questions. Be like, wait, what are you talking about? What's a credit hour? What does full time mean? What does part time mean? Students think they have to know everything and they're scared to ask questions, but that's how they can get caught up taking classes they don't want. Do not take 8 o'clock classes. If that was one of the hardest things for me when I was a college student. I was like, I mean, I like getting up in the mornings. I'm a morning person. No, it's a little different. That's a different 8 o'clock. I don't know why it's different or what it is, but if you are not a morning person, if someone has to wake you up, do not take those 8 a.m. classes. 9:30 is a good time.
Especially if you have to walk a hill.
Right. And go up steps, through elevators, cut through buildings, and take a bus, all that stuff. 8 o'clock is not for you, especially if you're trying to go to these parties and things during the week too, or if you're staying up late with your friends, or you're staying up late doing homework because you're working full time. You know, that can be a whole lot. And that's the other part, is don't do too much, because we have a lot more students now who are taking care of families, whether it's their kids, their parents, grandparents, siblings. They're working full time because they have to. Some work full time just because they like money, but then they want to take full time classes. It's a lot. It's too much. So if you want to be a full time student, you have to commit to being a full time student. It's okay to work part time, cut your hours back. Just, you can't go out and buy all the expensive name brand stuff right now. Save your money a little bit, prioritize what you're doing with that, but focus on your classes, because working on this degree is short term. you can make money a lot longer, hopefully, than being in school. So keep those things in mind. Those students who are eligible for Pell Grants are typically eligible for work ready, not work ready, work study. So if you find out you're eligible for work study, take advantage of it, because that's an opportunity for students to work on campus or to work somewhere, and they can sometimes get paid to do their homework. If it's slow and you're in an office, you can
Yes.
do your homework. So definitely take advantage. And what these students are getting paid for work study now is more than what it used to be. So sometimes it's more than what you could make out on the streets. And it's usually about 20 hours a week. It just depends, but that's still money in your pocket. You're doing your homework. It's the best of both worlds. And another thing is check your emails. Please check your emails because that's where everything goes. Your teachers, stuff from the school. Well, I didn't know this assignment was today. Well, you should have checked your email. I didn't know that class was canceled. You should have checked your email. I didn't know I had a bill. You should have checked your email. All the information you need is in the email. But just like for adult learners too, you have a support system. You have free resources on campus. Take advantage of it. Participate in student activities and organizations. I think that was one of my regrets when I was at Western, is I didn't get involved on campus like I should have. Yes, we were Gamma Sigs together and we did a lot. We Gamma Sigs did a whole lot, but I didn't go to homecoming. I missed the tailgating. I went
Every
after
one
I
of them.
graduated, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. But it's because I was scared and I didn't think it was for me, and I thought I'd have to pay for stuff, and I was broke. So that's one of my regrets, is I didn't enjoy the experience of homecoming on campus, the parades and stuff. Just it sounds silly and like it might not be important, but that's a huge part of the college experience too.
Huge.
It is. I think more people need to highlight that,
Mhm.
because not only, like you said, you only gonna come that way once. There's no, oh, let me go back and get another one. It's
Yeah.
like, maximize the time that you're here. And even those extracurricular activities, those social activities, you're building interpersonal skills, you're building
Yes.
entrepreneurship skills, networking skills, business skills, all of those type of things, helping you build your resume, building your character. It's all about development in yourself, what you allow to come into yourself. So yeah, having a better mindset about those things is something I definitely wish I would have had. I was so focused on academics, getting
Yep.
through it, and it paid off. I graduated valedictorian, highest
Okay.
everything, but then I was like, oh my God, I didn't, seek out with organizations and groups and different things like that. I didn't understand those things. So when I got to grad school, life was a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have to do more peopling now. It's not just, turning in assignments and all of those type of things. So I'm an introvert, by the way, if y'all hadn't been able to tell. But yeah, living on campus, is another
Yes.
college experience. That's absolutely right.
I highly
And
recommend that too.
yeah, I did have that. So I was around people, y'all. I wasn't like a hermit or anything. But yeah, the dorm life is definitely amazing. The different parties. I went to HBCU, so it was spades tournaments and game days,
I
video
wish.
games.
I'm trying to convince my daughter to go to a HBCU. I'm like, I'm trying to live through her.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So, but did you grow up watching like the Cosby Show?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all did.
Yes.
Just seeing people at Hillman and the Hillman experience, all of those type of things. It really, makes a mark on you to reach for higher education and for those things. And I know they say how, what you get coming through this way is going to help develop you for the next community that you're going into, whatever business that is, or the government sector, whatever sector it is. You're going to get a portion of that even while you're in college. So preparation is always available in all things. So switching gears a little bit, first time first in the family to go to college. First to leave home, to leave the nest. The parents are anxious. They're just asking all of these questions, and they're wanting all kind of tabs, and the having the, what is it, the maps on, whatever it's called, the location. Not that there's anything wrong with it. That's
Right.
recommended. Definitely, you want to be safe and know where your child is and have open communication. But what advice would you give? And this is a twofold question. What advice would you have for that parent to help calm them? To assure them that, hey, it's okay to let your child go forward and do these things. This is what they have, blah, 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 blah. And on the other side of that, how can you encourage that parent to step into a role of being that kid support system?
So that's something I see parents struggle with a lot. And I recently had a parent that I don't know who was trying to take classes, whether it was the parent or the student, because the student didn't even get a chance to really talk. And I'm like, you've got to let your child grow up at some point. And I know, like, this has been kind of a reality check for me, because I'm like, I only have 4 more years and I'm going to be this parent sitting in the office. And of course, because I work in it, I'm going to think I'm the know-it-all and be trying to take over and do all that stuff. But let your child start early with your child, for one. Like, if you know that they're going off to college at least a year before, I say freshman year, maybe middle school, start encouraging them to look up some of this information. Try not to do it all for them. It's okay to come to the advising appointments or do the campus visits with your child, but try to sit back and let them take control, because when you're no longer there, it's going to be them. They can't call you on the phone and be like, hey, I need you to talk to my advisor. I need you to talk to my professor. No, baby, you're going to have to do that on your own. So try to start that early on. Let them try to figure out their path a little bit. I know, as much as we want to step in and do everything for them, we have to let them do it, because if we keep doing it, they're not going to learn. And then they're going to struggle while they're in school. So I think it will help give them some responsibility. One thing parents have to realize too is that there are FERPA agreements, which is very similar to HIPAA. So if your child doesn't have you listed as a person that can get their information, we can't give you anything. If you're not sitting in this room with them, when you call me to ask me questions about, even if you paying the bill, I can't tell you how much they owe for college, because you're not listed as the person, like a person on their account. So make sure that if you want to have access to that information, not to be nosy, but just to make sure everything's taken care of, that you are listed on their account, that they have you down as a person we can share information with. Because we can't tell class schedules, you can't change or do anything. So keep those things in mind. But it's because they are 18 for the most part. They are now legally adults. So I try and tell them again, ask questions. I don't think I can stress that enough, for people to ask questions. We try to reassure parents that their kids are going to be okay, that they're in good hands. I know I can't speak for every single college, but I know for the most part, we all have common goals, and that's to see students succeed. So as tough as it is, try to step back some, let them grow up a little bit more. Think of this as a new milestone, a new stepping stone. It's not that they're just leaving you or leaving the house for good and you're never going to see them again or anything like that. They'll come home. They may not come and visit as much as you like, but you can also go and visit them too. But they're going to be okay for the most part. And I think that if parents just think about what they've taught their children growing up and the values they've tried to instill in them, then they'll realize they will remember a lot of that. They're going to explore. They're going to make some mistakes. They're going to do some stuff they have no business doing. We do it as adults. But that's just part of life and the growing and learning experience, I think. And they just have to continue to encourage them. There are some times where parents who don't go to college, because my mom, she did go to a community college, but I'm still considered a first gen student. I was the first in my family, and really the first to get a doctorate, I think, in any of my family. I may be wrong. Some of my family's on here. Y'all correct me if I am. But that can be hard because if parents don't have that experience, they're like, well, I don't want you to go or I can't help you, but don't hold your child back because you didn't have that experience. I know that for sure. You have to make sure that they have a chance to do something that maybe you didn't get the opportunity to do. But just try to support them, remind them there are resources on campus. Seek help whenever they can, but just don't let them think they're alone or don't let them give up, and check in on them when you can, but just try not to be too overbearing. I'm trying to think, but that's about all I have.
And that's excellent. That
That's
is great.
good.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, as you guys can see, she's very knowledgeable. She's been doing this a while.
Yeah.
But we thank you for answering those questions. What I got today is that, here lastly is, your kids will be all right, right? Go to the school with them, go check out the atmosphere with them so you know what atmosphere you're putting them
Yeah.
in. But your kids overall, they will be all right. And if you go the community college route, there's nothing wrong with that. You have a support system, as she said. Check out all the free offerings on
Yes.
campus, because life only gets unfree after you get out of college. Okay,
That part. I don't want to be an adult anymore. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And you pay enough money to get all the things for free too.
Right. So
manager.
use them all. Okay, use it.
Yes.
Use it. You bet. They need to be sick of you. Okay,
Yeah, that's it.
they need to be sick of you. Get all your money's worth. But other than that, I think I heard, part of that I heard balance, right? You're going to want to do all the things, but you can't do all the things. So find you a good balance.
Yeah.
Find you a good balance. 20% fun, 60% classes, and the rest of the percent studying or something, whatever you got to do.
Rest. You still need some rest in there too.
Yes, rest as well. Yeah.
You got the rest.
Yeah, but I thank you for coming on, Dr. Brittany.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You did very
Thank you.
well. You did very well. We are glad to have you again. If you have any other educational questions, tell them how they can find you or where they can find you.
You can't.
They want
Don't
to
look
reach
for
out.
me. Don't. Y'all can find me on Facebook. I have a lot of people who will reach out to me on Facebook. That'll probably be the quickest way. My name it's Brittany Hernandez Stevenson on there as well. Hit me up. You can Google me. I'm with Madisonville Community College. You can call me there as well. They should be able to access my phone number just through Google. And I'm willing to do what I can, help with whatever I can. And like I said, I don't know everything, but I can share what I do know.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to leave any? We like to let people leave with any last words they would like to say or anything they want to leave people with.
I just want to say, if I can do it, you can do it too. Don't ever
That's
feel
fine.
like it's too late to start your educational journey. If you don't have it figured out, that's okay. You just have to start. It doesn't matter how fast you go. You can start slow. It's okay. Just start. But I promise you, one step at a time, one class at a time, one assignment at a time. Rely on your support systems. It's okay to cry. It's okay. If you're not crying or not upset or ready to quit, then you're not doing something right, is the way I feel, because it's not easy. It is not easy. I don't care what kind of degree you're getting. You're going to face some challenges, but you're going to be okay. And it's a great feeling when you finish. And I enjoy watching students when they walk across the stage, like every time I get emotional, because it's just like, you did this.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to mention too. I guess the parents, like, I know with bigger universities, it may be kind of hard to get that feel, but I think you can sometimes. But if they aren't passionate about your student, like, and show it, that like through their services or through them, you coming there, I wouldn't send your student there,
Mhm.
right? Because to you, like, you don't want your kid to just feel like a number, especially when
Right.
something goes awry and they need help.
Right.
Um, so I think on bigger campuses you can still get that feel, but
Okay.
again, your education is what you make it sometimes, and so
Mhm.
yeah, find your community, as Dr. Andrea
Yes.
said earlier. Find your community.
Mhm.
Community is
Yes.
important. All
Yes.
right, y'all. Well, that is our show for today. Do you guys have any last words that you want to leave with? Mine is find your community. I might have took
Okay.
yours, Andrea.
No, I want to say one of my greatest accomplishments next to, receiving salvation was getting my bachelor's degree. When I tell you, it was the most amazing feeling walking across the stage. And I didn't know that I was going to be overcome with that much emotion. And then walking with my master's degree um, was amazing as well. But it was something about my bachelor's, like my first degree, that really, really, really gifted me with an overwhelming sense of gratitude because, like Dr. Brittany said, there is an overwhelming amount of work that you put in when you're in college. Do not get the 8 o'clock class. Do not get the 8 o'clock class. Even if you're a morning person, don't take the 8 o'clock class. I've been trying to drill this in my niece's head. I'm going to set this and I'm going to make a reel. Don't get the 8 o'clock class. Don't do it to yourself. That's my final words. Thank you,
So
Brittany.
yeah, I just wanted to say too, the one thing that stood out to me the most was let your kids grow up. Like, don't be afraid to let them grow, to become adults, to get disciplined, to give them that space to grow. Because if you don't, you will always have to spoon feed them. You will always teach them. Well, you will teach them a level of dependency that may cripple them for their purpose and in the world. Not that it's, even if it's a process of letting go, you got to loosen the grip some. You got to start trusting and building a relationship on another level. So like Dr. Brittany said, we'll see it as another milestone in their life and in your life as well. So I think that was very encouraging. So thank you so much for being here and saying that.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, James, if you want to come on and bring us out, we're ready for you.
Man, it is definitely been great to sit back and watch this episode tonight. It is definitely great to be back with my sisters again after a little bit of a hiatus where I've been gone, but I appreciate them for rocking it out and uh, continuing on and doing what the mission is of the show. Thank you to Dr. Brittany for coming on and doing an amazing job. And to all of you, please stay tuned. We know that you all have missed the podcast, but this is our last episode this season. I do promise you, though, next season we are bringing the podcast back for audio format. So definitely get ready for that. So we were just working out the bugs and make sure that everything worked. So now that we know everything works, we are definitely coming back with that. And stay tuned. The Godly View actually has a couple of fundraisers that we have up our sleeve as well. So stay tuned for that as well. So as we always say as we close out, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we look at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. We will see y'all next season. Peace.